Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to the Empress Club, Book 3, Checkmate. This is Chapter 2, Practice Makes Permanent. Well, I learned this from my sister because you've heard the saying practice makes perfect, but also practice makes permanent. So you've got to be aware of your habits because by doing the same thing over and over and over and over, it's going to become cemented in your mind. Now, practice makes permanent is a two-edged sword. It can work for you or against you. Now, if you're not mindful of what you're doing, you could be setting yourself up for failure. It could be detrimental to your progress. You could be magnetizing yourself for failure. However, the flip side of it is you can use practice makes permanent to your own benefit and magnetize yourself for success. How? Just by being mindful of the things that you do. This reminds me of a saying I saw in primary school every single day until fifth grade. That's why I was 10 years old, going on to 11. And that's why I target the Empress Club for 10-year-olds. Because I became aware of things around me at that time in my life, in that stage of my life, around 10, 11 years old. So at 10, 11, young man, you are able to think and reason. As the saying says, be careful of your thoughts because they become habits. Be careful of your thoughts for they become actions. Be careful of your actions because they become habits. Be careful of your habits because they build your character. Or be careful of your character because it determines your destiny. But this is why being mindful of what you do on a regular basis is very important. Thoughts, actions, habits, character, destiny. And that's where I got this from. Where you train young men to be boys to be men, men to leaders, leaders the agents of change and shapers of destiny. Because thoughts, actions, habits, character, destiny. So when I saw that, I realized that my thoughts affect my future. So I scrutinized, from then, my thoughts, I scrutinized my actions, and I watched my habits. But I scrutinized them not just because the saying said so, but because I wanted a particular destiny, a particular outcome in life. So I asked myself, what is it going to take to get there? And that's how I examine my thoughts, actions, and habits. And since practice makes permanent, I'm even more mindful of what I did or what I do, because what I do today is going to come back to either help me or haunt me tomorrow. And if I have within my power today to decide whether my actions are going to come back to help me or haunt me, I am going to choose the path that is going to bring me help in the future. What made this very poignant and vivid in my mind was someone had came to my grandmother, and my grandmother had called him a fool after they had left. So I said, why you call the person a fool, Grandma? She said, some people want strawberry after they plant corn. And I'm like, who could be that stupid? And she said, boy, people are that stupid. Now, I couldn't believe it. As I got older, I saw people who do it. They want strawberries at harvest, but in spring they were planting corn seeds. Gentlemen, your thoughts, actions, and habits are your seeds. If you want strawberry in the future, you can't plant corn during springtime. So You've got to be mindful of your thoughts, and more importantly, like Creflo Dollar said, you got to protect your mind gate, what you allow to enter your mind through your music, through books, through movies, through television, magazines. You've got to be careful what you allow to influence your mind, because it's going to influence your thoughts, which will influence your actions and build your habits and basically cement your future. That's how important this is, and that's why it's in the book, because it's important. Practice makes permanent, and before you even get to practicing, you've got to deal with the thoughts. And Creflo Dollar, back in 2003-4, I think, had did a series on this, guarding your mind gate. You've got to be careful on what you feed your mind, because it's going to manifest in the future. It's going to become a way of life. It's going to become a permanent fixture in your life. And practice makes permanent is a two-edged sword, gentlemen. It can be an anchor that weighs you down, or it can give you wings to help you soar. And like my principal said, what you do today is going to come back to either help you or haunt you. So you can decide what is going to be permanent in your life in the future based on your actions now. Is entirely up to you. Now before, since you were acting in ignorance, you were more or less protected. But now that you know, you have to make a conscious decision from now on to build wings. So you've got to practice doing sense and not nonsense. Now the issue with practice makes permanent and talking to 10-year-olds is that you basically are more or less influenced by the adults around you. So the good thing is, but because you're so young, you have time to grow. And you get more experiences that may point out that maybe the people around you aren't teaching you the right thing. Maybe they're not setting the right example. Maybe you should not be doing what they're doing. And that right there is going to be a very difficult task, gentlemen, to see that you've been taught the wrong thing, good or bad. Some people can only teach what they know. And that's what my teacher did an experiment on that. Not an experiment. Like, she had asked, if you have a gallon of water and a empty 5 gallon container, can you put 5 gallons in there if you only have a gallon of water? And the answer is no. You can only put a gallon in a 5 gallon. If all you have is a gallon of water, even though you're pouring it into a 5 gallon container, you're only going to get a gallon. So gentlemen, maybe your parents and the adults around you only have a gallon and you have a 5 gallon container. They can only give you a gallon, gentlemen, but you have the capacity for 5 gallons. And this is the reason why I'm doing the Empress Club. For those who have the capacity for more, I'm giving you a means where you can go and fill your 5 gallons yourself. Because let's admit it, most adults and parents usually don't know what they're doing. Especially if they have children at a very young age. So, gentlemen, you're going to have to examine your life and examine the lessons and the wisdom you've been given by the adults around you. I know it's going to be hard to admit that some people who you love and depend on, I would say, taught you the wrong thing. They didn't teach you much. Just look at it like that. Because you can only give what you have. So you can't blame them. And gentlemen, while you are young, let me tell you this now. Your parents not knowing is not an excuse for you not knowing. You know better now, so you do act better. Those who know better and do not act shall be whipped with many stripes. That is serious business, gentlemen. You know better because now you are watching the Empress Club. You are more aware than your parents. Now, I tell you to be disrespectful because they're parents and they're older than you and they're elders. But if you don't know, you don't know. And ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is not bliss, gentlemen. The more you know, the better off you are, the better decisions you can make, the better choices you can make, and better habits you can make permanent in your life. So this chapter could not be aimed just at you, gentlemen. It has to be aimed at the adults around you. Now, if you have adults around you that know better, you are 1,000 mile head start. If you heard the stuff I've said from the adults around you, you have 1,000 mile head start, and you are highly blessed. Because I used to say lucky, but a friend of mine used to say blessed. Gentlemen, you are highly blessed. For those who don't have it, you're in the Empress Club. So you're blessed also. So now we can move on with the lesson. I had to say that if you don't know, it's not your fault. Because you're only 10 years old, only 15 years old. Now for those over 15, you have a challenge now. You have a decision to make. Because now you becoming an adult. This specifically applies to you. Examining those around you and the lessons they taught you. Because remember, practice makes permanent. And you've got to get your mind right. You've got to get your thoughts right. And this is why I stress reading. Because reading is like adding software to your computer, which is your brain, the most sophisticated computer in the world. You need to add new things to your mind. And yesterday I met my librarian from high school, and she saw me reading a book. And she's like, "You still reading?" And I told her, "Yes, Mom, and thank you." And I told her about the Empress Club and how she said that you, what is it she said? To go to bed as ignorant as you woke is an insult to God. And I told her I took that seriously, and I've spent enough money on books that I could buy the Porsche I wanted to buy from I was 11 years old. I spend a lot of money on books. But like she said, to go to bed as ignorant as you awoke is an insult to God. Now, excuse me, for me, practice makes permanent really doesn't exist to me because I'm always adding new stuff to my computer. So my mind really has no rut. But the lifestyle is permanent, where I'm always learning. And when you're always learning, you're always growing, you're always evolving. That's the next aspect I was going to talk about. If you are improving as a practice, permanence in your life will be changed. But there's some next level stuff. This is for those who are 18 and older. Because the more you learn, the more you realize how ignorant you are. And thus, you must go now to learn more. It's just, who is this? Dan Brown, the guy who wrote the Da Vinci Code. Love his books. Now, this book, The Origin, I'm in Spain now. I have to go to Spain. Because I was a huge fan of Italians. Love everything Italian. So I wanted to go, but Dan Brown, I felt like I've been in Italy. I could find my way around Florence. Where else? Florence and Rome. Just from reading the book, I can find my way around. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Practice makes permanence. Gentlemen, you have to be careful of the information entering your mind because it affects your thoughts, which affects your actions, which develops your habits, which makes your character, which determines your destiny. This is very important, gentlemen. Practice makes permanent. Excuse me. Alright, seems like I got ahead of myself. I wrote down my notes. I did it. Alright. Alright, I covered everything. Oh my God. I written this down, and I didn't think I would remember everything, so that's why I carry my notes with me. I covered everything, gentlemen. Oh, sorry, that's the glare from the sun. Thank you very much for joining me, gentlemen. But don't forget, practice makes permanent. You've got to question and examine your thoughts, observe your habits. Now you can ask, how do you observe your habits? Observe your habits. Just write a timetable. Make a table up with your time, with the time, and write down what you do with your time. That's how you're going to be able to observe yourself. What do I do with my time? And so you've got to be aware of that, because if you're not aware of how you're using your time, it may work against you. Like my main man's O'Shea Duke Jackson said, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So if you're the type of person that waits until calamity strikes to get in gear, you're never going to be able to seize opportunity. Because, like, take for example, like this book. This was a different book. This was supposed to be part of the book. What is the book? The Book of Wisdom that Mike Murdoch admonished every adult to write to pass on to the next generation. Now, because that fool walked in front of my car, walked in front of traffic and caused such calamity, and my mind went on what the angry man said about things men don't do, I didn't have to scramble to write this book, because I was already working. I was already keeping my hands busy. So opportunity came to write this book, which led to me doing this YouTube series. Now, if I had to go start from scratch, I don't think I would have been ready for this until June of this year. But because I'm always in the habit of using my time wisely, when opportunity comes, I don't have to scramble. Now I just have to reorganize the book of Wisdom to suit material for young men. I was able to execute right away, take advantage of an opportunity right away. And there's a saying that chance prefers fortune favors a prepared mind. And so, gentlemen, this is why you want to practice certain behaviors. Imagine if I wasn't ready. I had to go and get ready. All I had to do is make a few changes, and bang, I've got one book that led to 2, that led to 3, 4, now 5, and I'm about to finish this YouTube series because of what I practice. Practice makes permanent. I don't procrastinate, and when an idea hits me, I hop on it right away. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Don't forget, practice makes permanent. I will catch you on the flip side in chapter 3, which will be discipline. Discipline is life, gentlemen. Remember the saying in the Bible, straight is the road and narrow is the bridge that leads to life. All right, gentlemen, catch you on the flip side.